Hey everybody, welcome to the final video for the 1970 Seattle Pilots What If Scenario season. We have already completed the entire 162 games, as you can see up here. We finished 71 and 91, 20 games below 500. No surprise, we basically, every other game at the halfway point of the month was a win or a loss. So I guess that based on our Pythagorean, a 20-game differential was what the game deemed us to finish up the season as. So, well, you know what? Well, it's fine. We finished 71 and 91. All that's left to do now is we're going to check the league leaders, the final leaders of the season. Then we're going to play the playoffs, which will go by pretty quickly because we only have two divisions, right? So there'll be a division series and then the World Series. So we'll do that. And then we will go through our contracts and possibly re-sign some of our players or cut them loose to free agency. Then we'll take a look at all the players who are listed as free agency, and we'll just kind of take a stab and see which players might be worthy of coming to the Pilots. So I'm hoping that because of our record of 71 and 91, we get the third overall pick. San Diego had the worst record, 48 and 114. Montreal gets the second pick at 65 and 97. Oh, and then Seattle. Okay, so we're 71 and 91. So is Detroit. And so is the Cubs. They lost 5 in a row. I did not notice that yesterday when we wrapped up the season. So we could have anywhere from the third pick to the sixth pick. That sucks. Oh, man, what if we get the sixth pick? I guess there's no way to know until we get to the start of the next season. So let's go ahead and do the league leaders first. We won't spend a ton of time on this. What we want to do is we want to just check all the main categories for our satisfaction. You'll see that Rod Carew won the batting title over Joe Torre by 1 point. Torre got injured at the end of the season and was really not able to try to overcome the 1 point differential. We'll see that we had a total of 5 batters bat over 300. Cesar Tofar was right there with 199. I mean, only 2 batters in 290 and maybe 10 batters or so in the 280s. So, I guess this is the era of the pitcher. And really, we're just kind of coming out of that with the 1970 season. So, not unrealistic that the, top 10 would have a guy batting 285. In fact, there's 3 batters that had a 285 batting average. So there's your batting leader. It is Rod Carew, who had the most at-bats. Hawk Taylor, a guy that was a backup up until this year, and then he gets the absolute most at-bats he's ever had for Kansas City. So good job by him. There's Doug Howard. There's 2 guys that we did not have the original card for, that Julio L. Dug up the card. Toby Hara, okay, we don't care. Tommy Agee, top 15. Okay, we're going to do all the batters first. We'll take a look at doubles. Rod Carew had 37 doubles. Tommy Agee had 24. That's more than anyone had last year for the Pilots. Grounding into double plays. Yeah, I knew Darren Johnson had to be somewhere on the list. He had 21. Carl Yastrzemski had 33. Makes sense. Total extra base hits. Tony Solita had 64. We know he hit 49 home runs. And so he just fell short of the 50 home run mark. Pepitone, Darren Johnson, AG, all made the list. That's nice. Yeah, we'll look at the fielding. Let's see how that worked out. Manny Seguin, he had so many errors. That was not his strong suit. Gene Tennis, one of the worst defensive players. Well, you know what? He had a bad arm, but he had a fielding rating of 82. So he'll probably win the Gold Glove. Then we have at first Darren Johnson tied with a 995. I guess he could win the Gold Glove. Second base, there's Van Kelly. Van Kelly was killing it, and then he finished with 10 errors. So he had 6 errors in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The game just absolutely sunk him. But I love the fact that he had 90 double plays in 85 games started. All right. Third base, Aurelio at 960. Yeah, Rich Rollins, not great defensively. And as I've said a couple of times now, Aurelio will be our everyday third baseman next year, even though that Rich Rollins is the better hitter so far. Mark Belanger finished with a 975. Good defensively, but an absolute disaster at the plate. He will not be back. We'll take a look at left field. We didn't have anyone that qualified in left field. That's because we didn't get Jose Cruz until right around the trade deadline. So he didn't get a chance to contribute. But Roy White led all left fielders for the Yankees. Center field with Jim Lytle. A really solid year for Tommy Agee. Much better than last year, right? Well, he played all 3 outfield positions last year, and he made 11 errors. This year he made 6, just playing center field exclusively. So, and yet he still had a negative range and a negative WAR. But, you know, I consider that a very good year, to be honest. Right field leaders. Well, we didn't have a right fielder because Pepitone played first and left also. Bobby Mercer, a 993, and Reggie with a 992. Wait, do we have one of our players in here? No. Okay. All right, so there's your fielding leaders. Games played. Did anybody play 162? Nobody did. Darren had 149, 148 for Pepitone, 147 for AG. Hits. Who had the most hits? Well, Joe Torre did, and he missed the last, I don't know, a week or 10 days of the season. Boomer Scott finished second. Doug Howard, come on. Tommy Reynolds. I mean, we didn't have anybody that played 162 games, so, you know, I mean, it's makes sense that you wouldn't have anyone with 200 hits. Torrey played 137. If he'd played 162, he probably would have broke 200. Okay. We'll take a look here at who got hit by pitch. Jay Johnstone had 9. Devannon, Johnson, and Pepitone had 5. Home runs. Here's the big one here. We have Tony Solita. He had the 49. Darren Johnson had 34. Kind of a shock. I'm curious to see what will happen for Johnson and for Pepitone when we move those fences back a little bit next year. I don't know. Maybe they'll have another big home run season. Very cool. Let's see. Intentional walks. Sam Bowens of the Senators had 6. Darren Johnson had 3. I couldn't remember a single time anyone got intentionally walked in our lineup, but I'm sure it happened. On base percentage, Sal Bando with a 420. That is good in any era. He walked 108 times. He finished the year injured. Rod Carew and Hal King were right there. Norm Cash, of course, walks a ton. Jim French. Okay. There we go. Nobody in our team, of course. Outfield assists. Yeah, I'm sure we contributed to this number often this year. Most of these guys do not have great arms. They just happen to be defensive players in which our I'm sorry, our base coach would tell us the percentage and we'd give it a go. In this case, we don't have anyone representing our team, but I'm sure that we helped out a lot of those arms. Scroll down to the OPS. Tony Solita, no surprise, he's going to be the MVP. Darren Johnson in the top 10. I don't know if I've ever really had anyone in the top 10 in any iteration of my Baseball Mogul past. Plate appearances is about the same. Yeah, Toby here. Almost 700 plate appearances. We don't care about range. RBI. Tony Solita, 131. Doug Howard, 118. Hawk Taylor. There's Willie Stargell. That makes sense. And Darren finished with Reggie. Joe Pepitone finished in the top 20. Good seasons for both of them. We already do have the MVP voting up on the YouTube page. If you haven't voted yet, please go to the community page. You can vote for the team MVP. It's basically just 3 options. Darren, Pepe, and Tommy Agee. And I put the stats there. You can feel free to vote for who you think deserves it. No pitchers, as you might expect. Which catcher threw out the most runners? It's Elrod Hendricks, 37. Sanguian had 23. Dalrymple had 16. Feels like they had more. What's the percentage? Jim French had 42.1%. Oh, he beat out Ken Suarez, who had a 92? A 91 arm. Jim French had a 91. Sanguian finished right around 40%. I'll take that. Runs scored. Wow, George Scott, 113. 3 people with 109. Only 7 batters finished with more than 100. Tommy Agee had 90. How many did he have last year? 77. And we didn't even bet Tommy Agee at the leadoff spot. Maybe half the season. I don't know. Probably more than I think. Sacrifice hits. It's a pitcher. Dave Boswell made the list, but that had to be because he was on the Twins for part of the year. I feel like we never succeed in that. I know that's not true, but it feels like it. Sack flies, a shortstop. Well, another shortstop right there. Alvarado and Brinkman, 12 and 10. Nobody on our team. Who had the highest salary this year? Oh my gosh, Dave McNally. And Dave Boswell is number 2. That is going to come back to haunt us, guys. I don't know if we're going to be able to overcome that yearly price tag with a guy that is not going to get us at least 10 wins. I might have blown it. Slugging percentage, yeah, it's Solita. No surprise. Stolen bases. Agee finished second with 40. Jose Cardinal had 43. Not a lot of stolen bases this year. I thought this was like the era when people were running like crazy, but maybe not. Okay, steal success. Oh, Jerry DeVannen. That's right. He was 20 of 22 for our team. So there's your average. Tommy Agee, not so good. Where's Cardinal? 86%. Anything 75% and greater is usually where people draw the line between good and bad. Let's see here. Strikeouts. Who struck out the most? Rick Monday. He had a case of the Mondays 138 times. Tommy Agee, 109. Darren Johnson, 96. He did not get there despite having a 5 strikeout game. Okay, let's see. Who had the best strikeout percentage? Cesar Tovar, basically 8 out of 100 times. 8 times in 100 at-bats. Joey Pepitone, we hit and run a lot with him. That'll keep you from striking out. Total bases, Tony Solita. To be expected. Triples. Tommy Agee had 6. The leader was still Cesar Tovar. Nobody with 10. Mark Belanger had 5. That was sneaky. The first 5 of his career. Weird. I guess if you don't have home run power, at least you can hit it off the wall. Walks. Who walked the most? Tony Solita, 110. Only 5 batters with 100. And nobody from our team. But we had Mike Keegan at first, a large period of the year. He's our walk guy. We traded him to St. Louis. Okay, that's it. We'll look at the pitcher stats, and then we'll just quickly look at the National League, the 4 main categories for pitchers and hitters. Catfish Hunter had 13 complete games, one more than Jerry Nyman. Joe Coleman. I mean, some weird names in here. I'm surprised there wasn't someone with 20 complete games. It felt like everybody completed their game against us. What about grounding into double play? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong category. We'll look at ERA. Andy Messersmith. What? Only 1 pitcher under 3. It doesn't seem right. Weird. It's got to be the National League's got to be like a whole run lower. Dave Boswell managed to make number 16. That's combined Twins and Seattle. Let's see what else. Games pitched. Denny Riddleberger. He played in the final game, game 162, and that gives him the most games pitched, 78. Fred Gladding should never have been on the team. He had 61, and we ostracized him in the bullpen for a good period of the, I don't know, maybe August. We didn't even play him much. And Ron Locke, we sent down. He still managed to get on the list. What a weird season. Okay, here we go. Induced double plays. Jeffrey Vollweiler, 44. Nobody else on our team. Nobody on our team at all. Hit batters. Who hit the most batters? Dick Estelle with 14. Boz. Ron Locke had 7. Home runs allowed. This is a good one. Jim Lonborg gave up 45. Sonny Siebert, 40. I mean, these guys are pitching 250 to 275 innings. Yeah, 258 and a third. Boswell gave up 27 in a combined 208 or so. Okay, that's a lot of home runs. Innings pitched. Fritz Peterson, 306 innings pitched. Wow. 39 starts. 10 were complete games. That's insane. Yeah, we're definitely not on that list. Because we use a 5-man rotation for one reason. Innings per game. Jim Rooker averaged almost 8. You can see everyone's within the same fraction. Let's see here. Quality starts. I suppose that's a thing. Mel Stottlemyre had 28. That led the American League. Quality start percentage. Yeah, we just don't have anybody. Stottlemyre once again. Blowing through these quickly. Saves. Fred Lasher in his barber jacket had 24, beat Tom Hall, Darryl Knowles, and Eddie Watt. Riddleberger right in the middle of the pack with 11. We also had Mike Marshall as our closer early on. Oh, he just had 1. 11 for the Angels. He was not good. That turned out to be an okay trade. Well, no, it was terrible, right? Because we got Ricky Clark. Think of all the players that we got that did not work out. Dave Leonard, remember him? I signed him as a free agent in the offseason. He got injured for almost the entire season. We traded him to the Padres. You think of all the players that just did not get it done. Oh, there's Diego Segui. He was on our team as well. All right. Shutouts. Andy Messersmith had 6. All right. I wonder if Mel Stottlemyre will be the Cy Young Award winner. We'll see. Starts, 39 for a couple. I'm guessing like 36, 37 is probably the norm if there's no weird variances. Let's see. Strikeouts pitched. Andy Messersmith, 230. Al Downing, 228. These seem low considering everyone pitched so many innings. Dave Boswell had 191. Good job by him. In the top 10, I would never have thought we'd have a pitcher in the top 10. And I guess just wins, right? Catfish Hunter had 22. Jim Palmer had 21. Mel Stottlemyre only had 18. So maybe Jim Hunter or Jim Palmer. One of the Jims. All right. Well, there's your league leaders. Let's go ahead and do the National League really quick. In the 4 main categories, here we go. Darrell Evans led the National League in batting average with a 346 average. He was injured for 3 weeks early on. What are you doing? Where does that come from? He did win the batting title. He got injured for 3 weeks back in June, and that's why he only had 462 at-bats. He walked a lot, so that's how he qualified. Batted 346. Good job by Darrell Evans. Now they had 10 batters. Okay. So they had 10 batters bat 300 or better. And I believe in the American League, it was 275. Right? Well, we can just look. 270. All right. So from 270 to 278. So there's your batting average leaders. Home runs, Michael Jack Schmidt, one of my all-time favorite players, had 39. He wasn't even in Major League Baseball yet. As a 21-year-old, he had 39 home runs. He didn't even play until 1973. And if you ever look at his stats, the 73 season, it was just like a September call-up, and he was bad. He was batted under 200. There's Boog, who we gave away. Congratulations to John, who won the Boog Powell card, I believe. We'll get that out in the mail tomorrow. Then there's all your leaders. Not very many with more than 30. Buddy Booker had 20. Who's Buddy Booker? That guy. Catcher. Never heard of him. Interesting. J.C. Martin for the Mets. Oh, he's a real guy. There's his baseball card. In fact, he played forever. And a career year for the Mets. Okay. Good enough. Let's take a look at RBI. Michael Jack. Orlando Cepeda. This is about the same as the American League. Very cool. And stolen bases. This is very different. So our leader had 43. He would have finished 7th. So Matt Alexander, 23 years old. He played for the Cubs in real life. Oh, he's on the Cubs. They just gave him a chance to play every day. And how do you do defensively with a 73? Only 21 errors. That's pretty good. All right. Davey Lopes. Was he in baseball yet? Yeah, he wasn't even in baseball. He had 64. 64 for 69. Bobby Bonds, he was a real guy. Joe Morgan, of course. Yeah. Okay. Michael Jack had 15 stolen bases? What? 82 speed? He's got it all. He might be the MVP. Okay, so there's your batting categories. Let's go ahead and change it over to the pitching categories. There's ERA. There's wins. There's strikeouts. And there's saves. All right, Don the Dragon Wilson had a 205. Yeah, this is more like it, right? There's 8 guys under 3. We only had 1. So Wilson, Nolan Ryan, J.R. Richard, those 3 guys are probably your best bet for Cy Young in the National League. And then their 25th guy is over 4. Interesting. So there you have it. Oh, craptacular. There we go. Wins. Holy shnikey. 25 wins for Ryan and Rick Wise of Philadelphia. 24 for Don Wilson. 7 20-game winners. All good names. Even Larry Dierker had a moment before he got injured in real life. Rick Wise, yeah, 25 and 7. Age 25. Well, not a free agent. Okay, interesting. Let's take a look at strikeouts pitched. Nolan Ryan, 311. That would be an all-time record. That beats his actual all-time record of 307 or something like that. That's incredible. Oh, no, he had the record last year with 314. That's crazy. All right. Carlton, yeah, these are all top-notch, awesome pitchers. Sadecki. I guess I always think of Sadecki as like a reliever, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, and we'll take a look at saves. Final category, and then we'll get to the playoffs. Bobby Bolin. Oh, in a Pilot's card, that's amazing, for the Giants, had 28. He had 11 last year in the sim. As Thomas Day is asking for the address, I'm going to tell him yes. If you hear this first, before I get back to you, yes, I got it, and it'll be mailed tomorrow. All right, cool. Ron Reed. Yeah, I mean, this is the same. You know, not a ton of saves. This was not the era of the save quite yet. All right. So there you go, folks. There is your American League and National League league leaders. So what we need to do here is go to the calendar, and we need to play like day by day, and we're going to get through the playoffs. Here's the playoffs here. But every day, we're also going to check transactions. Now, I think Don T said I can attempt trades after the playoffs are over, but before the free agent signing begins. Because we can't try now. I tried before we started the video today. So let's play one day. All right. Transactions. There's all your leaders. Well, James Pasquarella signed a 2-year extension at $700. Weird. He had to get that money for the offseason. Get that big money. Wait, did we miss some stuff here? Ron Santo getting his 1,000th RBI? We didn't see that. Congratulations to Ron Santo. Hitting a milestone on the final day of the year. Of the baseball season, anyway. Good job for him. We saw Mickey Lolich getting injured. And there's Joe Torre. All right. Cool. All right. So we're on October 1st. And, okay. So let's go ahead and play day by day. There's one day. Orioles win game 1, 2-0. And the Dodgers win game 1, 3-2 over the Phils. Transactions. Frank LaCourte signs a 2-year extension for $700. Getting that big money. Weird. This is weird. I don't think I've ever seen it do that. Okay. Playoffs. Game 2. Playing it. Oh, the Orioles have a 2-0 lead. Winning 4-3. And the Dodgers as well, with winning 7-5. Transaction. Freddie Velasquez, former Pilot. We gave him 14 at-bats last year. That's it. He's done. What team did he retire from? Oh, he was a free agent. And then Minnesota gives Dean Chance a serious extension, $650,000 through 1975. Cool. All right. Then there'll be a day off today in the playoffs, so we'll play one day. All right, transactions. Ed Charles retires. He got 500 at-bats in 69 with the Mets, and then they couldn't give him one at-bat this year. He even played in the World Series last year. Huh. Gets no respect. Okay, now we get back to the playoffs. Here's game 3. These are best of 7s? No, they're best of 5. That's right. So they can wrap it up, both teams, right now. Here we go. Who's going to the World Series? Oh, they're going to save it. You son of a bitch. Here we go. Any second now. Building the drama. Taking your sweet-ass time. I mean, okay, there we go. Here we go. Oh, the Orioles sweep the A's with a 4-2 victory, and the Phillies extend the National League Division Series. Or is it the National League Championship Series? That's what it's called. So very good. Yeah, NLCS is right there at the top. All right. Transactions. What? Oh, Jim Palmer. Oh, Jim Palmer won the ALCS and he got injured 6 days. So Jim Palmer is hoping that the Phillies can extend this a couple of days. Let's see if they do. Play a day. Dodgers win. Oh, sorry, Jim Palmer. It's going to be the Orioles and the Dodgers in the World Series. Dodgers win 4-1. Transactions. Ron Say is the MVP. Say. The Penguins. He had 3 extra base hits, batted .400. Good job by him. He's only 22 years old. Just like Michael Jack. First year was 1973. Okay, what did Jim Palmer do in the ALCS? He was 1-0 through a complete game shutout. Cool. Okay, so now I think there's 1 day off. Let's see. Playing 1 day. Yep, nothing happened. Transactions, nothing happened. Jim Palmer down to 4. Is there 1 more day off? That would be good. I guess there was. Transactions, nothing. Okay, so Jim Palmer will, I believe, get the 3rd start if everything goes as planned. Here we go. Play 1 day. Game 1. Orioles take the lead. Won the 7-6 in 11 innings. And then, okay, yeah, so this is in Baltimore. All right. Transactions. Nothing. All right, here's game 2. And the series is tied. Dodgers win 6-3. This is to be expected. Now, I think Jim Palmer would probably pitch game 3. Transactions, nothing. Now we got a day off. So Palmer will be ready. Transaction, nothing. Okay. Here we go. Game 3. This is in LA. Wait, is that... Did I say 4 games? No, 3 games. Okay. Here we go. Game 3. Oh, you son of a bitch. Thinking about it. Any second now. Talk amongst yourselves. Come on. There we go. And the Dodgers win back-to-back games, 8-5. Maybe Jim Palmer wasn't ready. Transactions. The Giants sign a 2-year extension with Wayne Cage. All right. Whatever. Okay, here we go. Game number 4. And the Dodgers are now 1 game away from winning the 1970 World Series. They win 4-1 in Game 4. Transactions. Jose Pagan is going to retire. There he is. He only had 1 game, 3 at-bats. And he had a hit. That was a double. Oh, he also got hit by a pitch. All right. Back to the playoffs. This is it. Orioles are back against the wall. Julio L. sweating it. Here we go. Game 5. And the Dodgers win 4-1. They sweep. After the Orioles won Game 1 in 11 innings, the Dodgers win 8-1. They are the World Series champions. Transactions. Here's all of your... Oh, the World Series MVP was Davey Lopes. 8 for 23. 6 stolen bases. A home run for Ribby. Wow, he was 14 for 38 in the playoffs. Scored 10 runs. He had 2 home runs. Great job by Davey Lopes. 8 stolen bases, was never caught. And then here's all the Dodgers that qualified for getting a ring. Scroll down slowly. Is there any Tiger pilots that we traded over here? I can't remember. No. Okay. All right. So, congratulations to the Dodgers. Now it's time for the free agent period. So we're going to play until that starts. Wait, can we do trades yet? Let's just... No, not yet. Okay. If Don T, if you're watching this, let me show you this. Does yours say this? Because I think I have set that there is no additional trades. I guess we'll find out after we hit this button here to play until the free agent period. Now we're going to... Yeah, so we can't, right? Because we're going to cut these people loose. And we will not be able to trade them. So I guess we have a different version, or I have a different settings than you do. Nonetheless, here we go. We're going to play until the free agent period. They're going to think about it. Then they're going to ask us to make some tough decisions as it's saving. We're so close to wrapping this up. Thanks again, everybody, for all the time you've dedicated to the channel. I really appreciate it. That's why I love to give away prizes. I know your time's valuable. And I hope you find this somewhat entertaining. First man up is Mark Belanger. Now, his previous salary was $28,000. His overall rating is a 72. He peaked at 74 at one point through the season. He batted .242 for us. He batted .143 for Baltimore. And he really offered nothing. No slugging. Struck out more than you would want. The only thing he has is fielding, which he was very, very good at. And that is a valuable asset when you have a terrible, terrible team like we do. But I feel like if we got desperate enough, we could just sign him for a lot cheaper off the free agent wire. So we're going to say release. Release the hounds. Yep. Bye-bye. Okay, Clay Dalrymple, I do want to re-sign him. He'll give a hometown discount to stay. He was making 88. He only wants 1,000 more. But would you take 1,000 less? I am the biggest cheapskate ever. Look it. We're gonna take away money, and we're gonna make sure you buy your own equipment. Let's see. Would he take 1 year at his age for 85,000? I will do that. No. Okay, he'll take 1 year at 86. Oh, he wants that other year. No, you're not getting that. You're not getting a player option. But we'll do 1 year at 86. But, yeah. 1 year at 87. All right. So we do get him at a discount. You got to buy your own equipment, though. That's the other thing. And they'll take this. There we go. All right. So we got the Rimp. He's back as our backup catcher. And, with a 1 year deal, if it doesn't work out, we just cut him. We pay him half of whatever he's owed to cut him loose. All right. Like Gary Sutherland fell apart down the stretch. We'll look at his numbers. As a platoon second baseman, you can't ask much more than someone hitting 290 with a 68 rating. But he didn't really hurt us that much fielding either. 10 errors. Certainly not the double play machine that Van Kelly is. I don't feel like Van Kelly is good enough to take the everyday job. And I do like Gary Sutherland and the way he produces. He's only going to be 27 years old next year. But this, I don't like this. Whenever he's in the game, I always feel like we're much worse. You know what? We're going to cut him. And we'll come back to him in free agency if we need someone to fill that role. We'll see you. Oh, it's the Gerb. I think he's a fan favorite. Now, he's got not a very good rating. He's happy to be a setup man with the Pilots. He might get fewer innings somewhere else. Yeah, because he's not good. But he did a good job for us. A 2.57 ERA in 35 innings pitched. He's making 55 at age 32. The walk to strikeout ratio is 2-1, basically. 1 every 3 innings, basically. So I don't feel like he is a liability next year. And he wants less money. Well, what if we just get him for 1 year at 50,000? Top it off with some cash. What about 1 year, 52,000? Still taking a cut. You son of a. All right, 1 year, 53. So we're saving $2,000 to bring back the Gerb. I know you all want the Gerbil back, and I do too. There we go, the Gerb. Ramon Hernandez. He actually kind of tanked it a little bit. Oh, this is arbitration. So do we just cut him? Let's see. He's 30 years old. We got him from Pittsburgh, right? Yeah, for Bob Meyer and Merritt Renew. He came over with Manny Sanguian. That worked out pretty well. He kind of roughed it up toward the end there. But overall, not too shabby. You could have done a lot worse. He gave us 40 2/3. Um, what about what about at his age? Now, what'll happen here? No, what do we do here? Is it worthy of a try? Should we just cut him? Because if we lose the arbitration and we want to cut him, we have to pay him half of his salary. So I think we just release him. I'd like to lowball him, but we could lose. So, see ya. Ramon. I do like Ramon did all right for us. Okay, here's Ray Peters. I feel like Ray Peters does have a future with us. His ratings are still good. Not really the best numbers, but also not terrible. And I feel like we can find a way to make him work for us for less money. And we'll cite him to 2 years. He's 24 years old. So I don't have a problem giving him 2 years. What about 2 years at $20,000? That's a $5,000 increase. That'll buy you a whole lot of glasses. Let's see. You son of a... Let's see. Okay, well, he just wants $1,000 more. That's fair. Okay, so Ray Peters will be back in the bullpen. That's good news. Ted Davidson, no chance. He's a 66. Look, he did great. Well, no. I guess he didn't. What happened? He fell apart, right? Oh, yeah. He got slammed in his last appearance. That's not fair. His ERA jumped up a whole run. Oh, that's too bad. That is too bad. Yeah, bye. Bye-bye. Release. See ya. Oh, yeah. No, this is a see ya. This is a see ya situation if I've ever seen one. Oh, yeah, that 6.15 ERA, that'll get you a raise. Look at more walks and strikeouts. I mean, he had a minute. But then in his last 20 games, he had a 13 ERA. And we still ran him out there. He did have 4 in a row. 2, 3, and a third innings where he didn't give up any runs. But, see ya. Bucky Brandon. Hit the road. He's arbitration. Oops. 0-5 with us. I'm not saying he's the reason why we had a 20 games under record, but he definitely participated. See ya. Okay, that's everybody. So now it's all negotiating. And then we're going to get a look at who is a free agent. Let's take a look at, we're going to rank it by monies. Oh my gosh. Now, if they're a restricted free agent, if you sign them, that team, their former team, will get an extra pick at the end of the first round. There's a lot to look at here, but we're just going to hit the top numbers here. Joe Morgan, available. $1 million for 7 years. We could not afford that. Davey Johnson also at second from the Baltimore Orioles, 5 years, $523. Davey Johnson's talking to the Phillies. Oh, down here it tells you who they're talking to if you're not aware. Tommy Reynolds, not really interested in him, but he had a good season. And the Royals are talking to him. Bob Bailey, he's always being traded. I think he got traded 3 times so far. No one wants him. He's a third baseman. Rico Petrocelli, Yankees are talking to him, going from Baltimore to the Yankees. Is Baltimore out of money? Is that why the Baltimore guys are gone? There's Johnny Callison, good defensive right fielder. Ed Kranepool from the Mets, from Freddie's Mets. Jim Gosger. Pavlitich is the catcher, talking to the Twins. Wait, Gosger, not talking to anybody. Jack Hyatt talking to the Cubbies. Art Shamsky. Bert Campaneris talking to the Senators. Tito Fuentes talking to the Royals. Donaldson to the Expos. Grote. No, nobody. And then just, there's Mark Belanger not talking to anyone. Yeah, so these are all very low rated at that point. Okay, so there's 124 batters in there, including draft picks from last season that did not get drafted. So there's some big names here, but it doesn't get much bigger than these three guys. All asking $1 million. There's Gary Nolan talking to the Phillies. What team was he on? The Reds? Yeah, he was on Cincinnati. Won 20 ball games. He's injured, though. Oh, he'll be ready for spring training. Okay, so there's Gary Nolan. Larry Dierker, 6-year deal with the Senators. He's like ready to go. Jim Palmer talking to the Phillies. So Phillies is probably going to get either Nolan or Palmer. Jim Maloney, 3.23 ERAs, talking to the Red Sox. Yeah, Baltimore, Tom Phoebus. So Baltimore must have ran out of money. Oh, yeah, they got a bunch of Baltimore guys here. There's Osteen, Chuck Dobson, talking to the Red Sox. Jim Merritt, talking to the Red Sox. Eddie Watt from Baltimore is talking to the Senators. Steve Blass, nobody yet. Jerry Stevenson, we could get Jerry Stevenson back. If we're going to sign somebody, they've got to at least be an 80 or better, I think, right? There's Denver LeMaster. I think it's Denny LeMaster. Bruce Howard. I mean, we get the picture here. Things are getting a little thin the further we go down. Wait, Jorge Rubio, a restricted free agent. I think he was on the Yankees. So is there anybody that's cheap, like 100, like, in this range? Jim Merritt, Steve Blass, Jerry Stevenson, he's a little low. Denny LeMaster, he only pitched 8 innings. Bruce Howard. I mean, this is the range that we're looking at for starters. This Jorge Rubio, excuse me, Mike McCormick's too low, rating-wise. Okay, well, I mean, no. What we have to hope for is that some of these bigger names we can get at a discount if they're not signed right away. I think we can probably afford one only mid-level player. So, do we put our money into Davey Johnson? Do we put our money into Rico Petrocelli? So, or do we get Claude Osteen? I don't know. So anyway, that's what we have to think about for next year. All right. So now we can go over to transactions, and we can actually see how everything went last year. So there's the World Series ring, and then you can see all the teams here. And we're not going to discuss them much, but we're going to just scroll slowly, and you can pause and look if you want. But these are all the players that were re-signed by their teams. You see over here. So you can find your favorite team. Like Baltimore. Okay, finances. Yeah, Baltimore is way in the hole. They're almost $1 million in the hole. So they cannot sign any free agents. And the only way they would be able to is if they trade players. Would be if they trade players for cash, money homes. That's the only way. Okay, I'm sorry. Here we go. Let's get back to the top. We'll scroll down. All right, here we go. Atlanta. I mean, if it's look for multiple year deals. Dalton Jones for Boston, 5 years, 265. There's California. Chicago. Wilbur Wood, 4-year extension for 240. Cincinnati. Cleveland. Jose Cardinal, 5 years, 342. Norm Cash, 3 years, 310. Detroit's giving Willie Horton a 5-year extension, and the guy didn't even barely play. That's stupid. Jim Northrup in right field, getting a big deal. Jim Wynn gets a 6-year deal from Houston. Dennis Menke gets a 5-year deal. Johnny Edwards a 4-year deal. Wally Bunker for Kansas City, 4 years. Tommy Harper, we traded him over there, then he didn't play. He gets a 4-year deal somehow. The Dodgers, there's Drysdale and Willie Davis and Wes Parker. I mean, Dodgers are locking in players long term. Minnesota, they didn't give out any big money. Montreal, 6-year deal to Rusty Staub. Whoa, Nolan Ryan gets a 3-year extension for $1 million. That's a smart move. It's Don Mincher. Gets a 4-year deal. I don't think he even plays. The Yankees, you know they're going to be handing out gift baskets. Look at that. And I mean, nothing. Actually, they didn't spend a ton of money, did they? Oaktown, Reggie gets a 1-year extension. That's weird. Although they did try to replace him with Hank Aaron. That's weird. Philadelphia gives Johnny Briggs a big deal. Pittsburgh, nothing of real note. Oh, they resigned Merritt Renew and Bill Mazeroski. The Padres have no choice. They're so bad. I mean, they could have just let everybody go and no one would know the difference, right? Yeah. Here's one player for the Giants. Bobby Bonds. And here's ours. Gave money to the Rimp, to the Gerb, to Ray Ray, St. Louis, not a lot, and Washington. Lots of 1-year deals. Here's all the people that won arbitration or lost arbitration. Not all that concerned. Okay, then we get to the awards. This is it. I think we're done. Tony Solita is the American League MVP. Nolan Ryan is a National League MVP. Catfish Hunter and Nolan Ryan win the Cy Young Awards. We're looking at Gold Glove. Oh, man. Gene Tennis did get the Gold Glove, but Darren Johnson did not win it first, despite tying Fiore. Now there's Dalton Jones, Bob Bailey, Larry Boa, Roy White, Cardinal, Bobby Mercer in the National League, Carl Morton, Tom Haller, Michael Jack, Chris Spire, George Foster, and the Rookie of the Year, John Lowenstein. Lowenstein. I never figured out the right way to say it. Well, he got a lot of at-bats, hit some home runs. Walked 96 times. That's ridiculous. And then George Foster was the National League Rookie of the Year. He only had 19 home runs and 71 RBI. Very cool. Those are good names to win. And then who all retired? Gus Gill. Luis Aparicio retired. He got into one game for Kansas City. Orlando Pena. Fred Whitfield. Bob Johnson. Charlie. Oh, that's it. So that's all there is right there. Those are the players that retired. 2 from the Royals. Orlando Pena. Oh, yeah, he was already out of baseball. Okay, that's it. We are done. Let's look at our team real quick. One last time. So we hold, wow, this is a little out of order here. But essentially we have the same roster in the major leagues as we did before. This is all a little jacked up. I'd have to switch some people around. Obviously, Manny Sinking is the catcher and whatnot. But we have the same major league roster for the most part. We probably could use a shortstop or a second baseman that can play every day against lefties and righties. We're going to give the job to Aurelio Rodriguez to play third. And everything else is accounted for. We look at our pitching. Move to the DL. We have like no pitchers. We're going to have to sign a bunch of pitchers to fill out our minor league system. We're going to move him to Double A. Yeah, we are really light on pitchers. We could probably use, well, we can't have Ron Locke be a starter. So we're going to have to sign one starter, even if they're cheap. And we probably should sign several schlubs and fill in for Schlubby Schlubbersons. Now, we do have Camilo Pascual. He'll be back. We still have one more year with him after the 71 season. So Camilo Pascual is going to have to pitch for us. I don't consider him a starter with that rating, but we'll put him in the bullpen, and he'll have to go the whole year until he gets injured. And then when we get to the 71 season being completed, we can cut him loose. But maybe he can give us 80 innings again, even with a 5 ERA. It's something. We're paying for him. So there's the team. When we come back for the 1971 season, every player will have a 1971 card, which are the black border cards. And if a player is not on the team that the card says they are, I will be able to manipulate that card so that it shows them on whatever team they are on here in the 71 season. That'll be fun for me. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do that for everybody. Both leagues, even if you never even see it, it'll exist. So that'll be fun. And, of course, we're going to push back the fences a little bit in the alleyways in Brainiac Stadium. So, shoot, I think that's it, folks. We're going to come back in the fall with the 1971 season. And much like we just did with the 85 Tigers, we'll play I'll have already done all the free agent signings. We'll be ready for spring training. We'll get through spring training, and then we'll start the season. So that is what you have to look forward to. I hope you all had a very fun time enjoying watching this expansion team. Wow, an hour. I did not expect that. Sorry about the long video. But that does wrap up the 1970 season. And we'll be back in the fall. Thank you so much, and have a great summer.